Hello, everyone, from a random Friday here in Hollywood, California. Today, we are going on a very immersive experience called the Real Ghost Hunting Experience here in Hollywood, where we're going to learn about history, ghost stories here in Hollywood. We have my friend Jen here. Say hello.
Hi.
Our meeting spot is right in front of the Hotel Roosevelt at 7:45. The tour will be about an hour and a half. We'll see what happens here, but let's get into this. We have arrived to the Roosevelt Hotel. Our tour guide is over there with about 7 to 10 people in our group. This is going to be a lot of fun. The tour starts at 8 p.m. This is a beautiful Roosevelt Hotel. There's a lot of spooky stuff that has happened over here, so hopefully we get to learn about that in this ghost adventure. It's going to be a lot of fun. This device will tell us if there's any ghosts around or we hear anything around the place that we're going to be heading towards. Are you nervous? Are you scared?
I'm excited. I am ready to go ghost hunting.
Wait, say that again?
I say I am nervous and exciting, but I am ready to go ghost hunting.
Well, hopefully nothing follows you back home.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh my god! I know I'm doing that too, but you just can't see it. She needs to cross. Where's her holy water?
I'd like to say that LA is the city that never got to grief. Everything that's happened has been quick turnover, on and on and on. All of this turmoil has just been painted over, like my apartment walls. And it goes back a long time. Where we're standing is Hollywood, but it wasn't always Hollywood. It was originally indigenous land inhabited by the Tongva people, and they called this area Yonga. And then the Spanish came in and said, Yonga's not that catchy. I think we should name it El Pueblo de la Nueva Estación La Reina de Los Angeles y Pasinquilo. And then the French and Croatians said, what? Well, the French more said, oh. But it didn't really stick. Around the 1850s, it was known as Sonora Town because of all the Mexican immigrants that came up for the gold rush. And Sonora Town, from the get-go, had a really, really tough reputation, known for prostitution, bullfights, gambling, and murder.
Was our girl, Miss Marilyn Monroe. Now, Marilyn Monroe, once known as Norma Jean, said that when she made it to the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, she knew her life was going to change. And changing it. And the Roosevelt Hotel is known to be where she spent so many of her days that she even had her own designated room. In it, she purchased and placed her own mirror. Now, after she passed away, so many people were trying to get a glimpse at Marilyn Monroe's mirror that they decided to take it out of her hotel room and put it in the lobby, right above the staircase. So when you go by later after the tour, you can take a peek at Marilyn Monroe's mirror. And on that too, many have said that when they look in the mirror for a second, they'll see Marilyn Monroe's face before they see their own. God, I hope it happens to me.
Alright guys, scooch on in. Now welcome to the Nirvana Apartments. I'm gonna be a little bit quiet around here because, people live here and they're sleeping and they don't want to hear all the horrible things that happened where they live, but what are you gonna do? At this apartment building, it was made in 1927, same year as the Roosevelt Hotel. And when they made it, it had that very Chinese classic style that they were into with the movies at the time. And so it's got that very chic feel inside. At first, it was a hotel where a bunch of ladies who were making their first start in their career would stay. And then, not much really happened. Except one night, there's a story that ties this place to that Roosevelt Hotel. One night there was a woman, she was about 23 years old, and she was sitting at the bar waiting for a date. And he didn't show up on time. So she orders a drink. She waits about 45 minutes, still no show. She orders another drink. And then she starts talking to the bartender about how upsetting it is and how hard dating in LA has been for her. So she orders another drink. And at this point in time, she's not feeling herself, but she says she's gonna walk home. The bartender, he offers to order her a car, but she says no, she needs to get outside and clear her head. So she takes a walk, and when she's just about outside the Nirvana apartments, she's hit by a car and she dies. And now, when you're at the bar at the Roosevelt Hotel, sometimes you'll see a little flapper dress, red dress girl walking by, and you'll know that's the lady in red. Still waiting on a man here in Hollywood.
Ooh.
Oh, girl, is that something I know? A lot of stars have ended up too. Especially, and most of note for them, is my girl, Janis Joplin. You guys know Janis Joplin, right? Okay, yesterday they didn't. I thought that was crazy. So here's Janis Joplin. You all know Janis Joplin, all in the psychedelic hippie rock movements. And the Landmark Hotel really acknowledges it. They even put on the number of their door that this is the suite of Janis Joplin. And in there's like a little shrine to her with her picture, her music, and some good time whiskey bottles there for her because whiskey was Janis's favorite. And the true fans will still come to this day and stay at that Landmark Hotel, bring a couple bottles of whiskey, blast some music, and try and connect with Janis Joplin, both through her music and spiritually. And sometimes that even comes through. Some have said that they've heard the faucets being messed with, which for me, I've always thought that ghosts have some tie with water. That's why bathrooms and basements and cellars usually have a history with ghosts. So when they said the faucets, I was like, probably. There's some tapping. Some people have even said that they've heard some tunes in their sleep or felt a presence in the corner of the room while they were sleeping. That could be true. That could be Janis Joplin there.
So you could stay in the room?
Yeah, you
if
can still lay
oh,
there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can still stay there. It could be Janis Joplin, or it could be all that whiskey. Might look like a big Disneyland attraction with all the bright lights, the fresh new coat of paint, but it's actually the oldest building on our tour. The Magic Castle was built in 1909 for a single family home. Those were the days. And the Magic Castle was turned into the connection of magicians in the 1960s. My brother's Bill Larson and his brother, who was a TV game show producer. And Bill Larson was a magician, got the group together, and it became, now it is about 5,000 magicians tied to the Magic Castle. It's an exclusive membership, so you have to know somebody to get in, either a magician or a member, or you have to stay over at the Magic Castle Hotel and they'll let you in. But anyone who's been there, raise your hands again. I want to see.
Right here.
Okay, who wants to talk about it? Tell me a little bit. I've never been. It's old in there. Does it feel creepy?
Yes.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
It's fun though, but there's like a lot of like you go one way you don't know what
Yeah.
you're walking into, but like there's a basement and you're going up another stairs and you're going at a different level that's not the same level from the other side. And I was like, okay. And there's no windows.
Yes. It's very sneaky. Lots of hallways, lots of corridors, lots of stuff where you don't know where they're behind you.
No pictures inside.
Yes, you can't take your phone, right? Are they-
You're not allowed to take it out.
So, okay, you can't get caught.
I think the most you can take is probably yourself against a wall. There's nothing there. That's it.
Like when you
can't-
first enter, but you can sneak one in the bathroom. I always
If they catch you, they'll kick you out.
Everyone turn off the cameras.
Yeah,
You
and
can
then
sneak
before
one
you
in
go
the
back-
bathroom. Okay. These are all very good to know. Now, it sounds like a really fun night out. You know, you've got a dress code too. You've got to dress up to be there. But there's also some weird deaths that were happening. Daryl Easton, he was a magician, and he was in the green room for his set. In the 1970s, waiting to go on. Somebody checks him and says, "You got 30 minutes." Came back 30 minutes later because he didn't go on for his cue, and the room was torn to shreds. Feathers everywhere from the pillows. The cushions were ripped open, and there was the man. He hung himself in the green room before it was his time to go on. There's a much pettier death that we like to talk about. You guys know this guy? Harry Houdini. Very famous. Very well known for his magic and a very, very big skeptic. Mr. Harry Houdini, he was very into magic, but he was also super into the fact that it was a trick and that he was never going to reveal his tricks, okay? So, and there were so many people at the time who were hosting seances or other kinds of things, saying that they were talking to their loved ones or whatever, and Houdini, it kind of made him mad. He felt like his skill was taking advantage of other people. So he tells his wife, he says, I'm gonna die someday, and when I do, I want you to hold a seance on my birthday every year. And she says, okay. And he says, if I come through, then you know that it's real, and if I don't, you know it's fake, period. And so every year after Houdini's death, his wife holds a seance, and unfortunately he never comes through until 2011. It's Harry Houdini's birthday, and in the Magic Castle there's a Harry Houdini seance room, and they hold a seance for Harry Houdini. Now, nothing happens in that seance room, but while they're holding the seance, just down the hall in Dante's room, a fire breaks out. Now, who's Dante? Harry Houdini's rival in life. That's right, everyone. He never came through for his wife, but he did come through for petty revenge. Just like a man. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the Roosevelt Hotel. We learned a little bit about some of their glamorous ghosts. Let's talk a little more on their glamorous past. See, the Roosevelt Hotel was made in 1927, and 2 years later, in 1929, they held the first ever Oscars ceremony. Yeah, it was completely different. This is what it looks like, the pamphlet. It lasts about 30 minutes, and you grabbed your little statue and you went home. Nowadays, it takes maybe 6 hours, and LA traffic-wise, 7 years. But in that it was held at the Blossom Ballroom. And the Blossom Ballroom has a history of a special ghost there as well. You'll go into this day and you'll hear a couple notes from the piano, but no one's there playing it. Also, under the Roosevelt Hotel, there's tons of tunnels back from the bootlegging days in the 1920s, 1930s, and people have reported all kinds of things down there, though most people don't go down there whatsoever anymore. It's completely closed off. Probably for the best. And also, there's another ghost girl. Back in the Roosevelt Hotel pool, there was a little girl who went swimming one time. Her dad looked away for a minute, came back, and she had passed away. Now to this day, you'll see a dripping wet little girl at the end of a hallway, or you'll hear the little splatters of footprints, or some have even said seeing little wet footprints down the hall and in the room. It's also what inspired the two little girls at the edge of the hallway. Now you get the light.
Check out immediately.
Exactly. Now the 12 water sources in the UK still use dowsing rods. And there's women in the Central Valley they call water witches that use these to find water. But they've also always been used to talk to spirits. If they cross, that means yes. If they separate, that means no. And if they stay still, that's a refusal to answer, and you have to ask a completely new question. Is anyone willing to hold them? Diego. All right, let's see if you've got the spirits in you. So you want to hold them up almost like you're an old cowboy?
Right there.
Yep, very steady. Great. All right, let's see if we can get anything from our dowsing rod tonight. If you could drop them back down and bring them back up to that spot. Exactly. Is there anyone with us tonight? Anyone with us tonight? Are you here with us? Doesn't want to answer. All right, you can reset for me. Are you a child? Okay, it doesn't want to answer that. You can reset again. Are you a man? Absolutely not. There really is a theme to this story tonight. All right, thank you so much for that answer. Can reset again. Are you from Hollywood? Are you from Hollywood? Are you tied to this land? Yes. Okay. Can you point to where you are right now? At all the iPhones. Alright, reset for me. Are you at peace? Interesting. Reset again for me. Are you friendly? Okay, thank you so much. Alright, thank you so much for talking with me. And my story starts with this Raoul Walsh. Raoul Walsh and Errol Flynn were sitting on the couch one night having a couple drinks after their friend John Barrymore recently passed. Now, Errol Flynn, he was known for his swashbuckling pirate movies, and he happened to be a little bit of a pirate himself. When John Barrymore passed, Raoul Walsh said to him, that was crazy. Okay. Raoul Walsh said to him and said, that is so crazy. Oh, they were on the fritz. Raoul Walsh said to Errol Flynn, he said, I would do anything to have one more drink with John Barrymore. And Errol Flynn, this pirate, he gets an idea. He goes to John Barrymore's grave, not too far from here, digs up his corpse, brings it to Raoul Walsh's apartment, and sets it up in his living room with a beer bottle in his hand. And the next morning, Raoul Walsh, he wakes up, goes downstairs, and sees the body of his dead friend John Barrymore in his living room. You know, my friends, we buy little treats for each other. That's usually our thing. If one of them hid my old friend's dead body in my living room, I don't know how I'd respond, but they all laughed, and it became a big Hollywood joke after that. Building behind me that's totally creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the First National Bank building. And when they built it, it was the exact number of floors that was the tallest that you could make a building at that time. Lucky number 13. So it's 13 floors, and it was made in 1928, which is just before the stock market crashed. So it was really just two big bad luck things right back to back. And it came with a lot of stories. When the stock market crashed, people had to abandon the building really quickly, sometimes leaving all their stuff behind. And the floors were abandoned at different paces. Sometimes communities would leave, sometimes one guy would vanish, and no one ever really knew why. And then there was an investor who lost his mind a bit. He took a secretary hostage, went up to the 13th floor of the building, and held her at gunpoint. Now I know what you're thinking. He did not jump. He did something weirder. He kept her hostage at gunpoint, and then when the cops had surrounded the area and got inside the building, he shot the secretary and then shot himself. The door again.
No, it's just like the music goes with what you're saying.
And then he shot him. Hollywood. Anyway, he shot the secretary, and then he shot himself. However, he did not die. He shot his jaw, and it was gone. And he was in prison in the hospital for years until he died. But to this day, people will still see the face of a man in the windows is missing half a face. So maybe take your pictures now, try and get a glimpse in there. This is one picture we got of a face in a window. cracking me up. So we talked about the bank building, and right next to the bank building, you'll see that marquee. Congrats to all the Oscar nominees. That there is the Stella Adler Acting Studio and Theater. Back in the day, it used to be a speakeasy. You took an elevator down into the basement in the 1920s, and they'd give you a nice thing of booze, and you could hide from everywhere that you needed to. And then it became a place for actors to hang out. Same kind of vibe. And at the Stella Adler Theater, there are some really creepy things that were tied to the elevator. Now, a couple of actors were leaving class about 20 years ago as a group of 4 actors, and they heard 5 people screaming from inside the elevator. They were both men and women, and they were saying that they were trapped, they were stuck. And so the group of actors went to go help them. And one even went to go get security. Eventually, 2 of the guys from the actors were able to pry open the doors of the elevator, and when they swung open, there was no one there. Later, there was another circumstance, just about 6 months, when a security guard heard the same thing, screaming coming from inside the elevators. But the elevator was out of service at the time, so it was down below. Eventually, he was able to pry open the doors again and saw at the base of the elevator shaft a woman screaming, reaching up, asking for help. He went down to reach to pull her up, but somehow she was strong enough to pull him down, and he got injured. Now, when somebody came and found him later, there was no woman in the elevator shaft with him. Also next to that, you'll see the Wax Museum. The Wax Museum has a lot of creepy stories too. A lot of employees have said that they've seen the wax figures blink, move a little bit behind them, sometimes even whisper into their ears. So there was a journalist who decided to debunk the whole thing. He decided to spend the night overnight in the Wax Museum. And the employees were like, good luck. He lasted a couple hours. He brought his sleeping bag, everything laid out, fell asleep until he was woken up a few hours into his rest by some knocking. He sat up to go see what was going on, and he saw a figure run by. It terrified him. He froze in his tracks, and then he heard something behind him where his sleeping bag was. He turned around to see it, and it was crumpled up in a ball. His sleeping bag. That was it for him. He ran to the gates where they'd locked him in for the night, and he slept right by the front door until they came and opened it up in the morning. And he was petrified. He wrote a note to the institution and said, you have to shut down. This place is cursed. You can't be having people in here. And the employees thought it was hilarious, and they hung it up in the break room, and it's still there to this day, and they make fun of the journalists for that. So I think there's something definitely there with the fact that this bank building, the Stella Adler Theater, and the Wax Museum have all had such strong residual impressions, or even true spirits coming through, and to have them back to back to back, it's just very creepy. Can you point to where you are right now? You were getting a lot of the EMF reading right here too. Interesting. Kind of this area where we were getting it. All right. Are you, anyone else have a question that they want to ask? Are you young? Yes. I was getting a little bit of a younger spirit. Okay, read that again for me. Are you...
Young for a long time.
Did you pass when you were young? Yeah. Yeah. Are you tied to Hollywood? No. Okay, reset again. Are you tied to someone in this group? Can you point to who you're trying to connect with?
No.
Right back to you.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Any last questions we might have for him? Reset again. Do you want to come with us for the rest of the tour?
Just for the tour.
Just for the
she's
tour.
She's not coming home.
Just for the tour.
No.
And absolutely not. I get it.
Okay.
All right. Then into the lobby, makes one phone call, and is seen 10 minutes later leaving with a tall man. That's all the last time anyone saw Elizabeth Short. Then, wow. Haunting. Then, after that, Elizabeth Short was never seen again until the next day she was found. Her body cut in half, entirely drained of blood. And after the Black Dahlia, I think it was back when the Cowboys were out, but that's what a lot of people said. But after that, you know, it left a very dark cloud over some of Hollywood's true crime future. But Bordner's was a place where she was always happy, and it's where she got her nickname, the Black Dahlia. She was so striking and so beautiful that when she was at this bar, she always turned heads, and she made a lot of friends.
So I like to think, you know, me in the ghosting world,
Not all ghosts are trapped here. Sometimes ghosts stop by in a place where they were happy, or they have a lot of good memories, or they got to listen to some good punk music.
Well, I had a really bad experience there, so.
So you might come back and haunt it. To the earth and all those who lie beneath. To the paths we walk and to those who tread before us. To the houses once here and all those they once housed. To this city, Los Angeles, and its echoes. May we always come in blessing and wish unto ourselves and each other and everyone we get the chance to meet. Peace, peace, kindness, and peace. On the count of 3, throw those pop-pops. 1, 2, 3. And a round of applause for Lisa and Savannah. We just finished the real ghost hunting experience here in Hollywood. And let me tell you, this was a lot of fun. If you love ghosts, if you love ghost stories, if you love classic Hollywood, if you love hearing about historical places here in Hollywood with a little bit of spookiness, this is a tour for you. Jenny, what did you think?
Sorry, I'm just looking. No one's
She's
so-
scared.
like-
She's like, is there a ghost behind me?
I thought it was a lot of fun, especially like walking in Hollywood through the night. Made it pretty spooky. Just like learning history from ghosts in Hollywood, and I don't know, it was just like fun experience for me.
It was a lot of fun. Again, if you are looking, if you miss Halloween, if you're looking for something spooky to do, this is a tour for you. I'm going to leave the link to this ghost experience down below in the comments. It's a lot of fun. If you love ghosts, if you love classic Hollywood, like I said, you learn a lot. You learn a lot. And you do some really spooky things too. You connect with spirits. You talk to spirits. As you could tell, I participated in a lot of different things. I take risks. She doesn't. She was nervous. I was trying to push her, be like, Jenny, go. And she was like, no, I don't want nothing to follow me home. For real, she was like, I don't want nothing to follow me home. At the end, you do a little prayer, and then no spoilers, but it's something that I think you'll be okay when you leave the tour. Everything was fun. The tour guide was really nice. She was very knowledgeable. And yeah, if you're looking to do something fun and spooky, do this experience. Like I told you, I'll leave the link below. See you at the next video.